Hello everybody, I hope you're doing well. I'm very excited to tell you and announce that I've just put out a new song with my band Zini called Before It's Too Late.
I heard you say, I think you knew that all of the stars in outer space were looking at you.
The song this time around is quite personal, quite introspective. It's one of those songs that, which is often the case with me, it's gestated for a very long time. I think the original idea for the song is very old. I think the first demo might have been in 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. This is how it often works with me, is that I'll have, a song idea, or I'll write the basics for a song, and then, it just takes time for it to fully bloom into what it's supposed to be. And this is one of those songs. The idea started off with me simply playing around with an open tuning on the guitar. But I played around with this chord progression, or this... So when I write music, I write mostly modally, you could say. So I base it around a sort of droning structure, a chord or drone, or a very simple theme, and then sort of build it around that. That's usually how I do music. And this time around, it's really just playing around with an F and I think an A flat, sort of the relationship between those, and then sort of going away from that. Anyway, so the music, the original version, was in Swedish. And most of the components that are there today were there back then. It was in Swedish. The verse melody and parts of the chorus were quite different. But structurally, in terms of the vibe, in terms of even the little sort of instrumental solo section was there already. But then it just wasn't completely there. And I sort of tried different versions of the verse and the chorus and things, like just tried different things over the years, and it never fully clicked until about a year ago, which is when the song really was finished. And when that process started a year ago, it was a quite quick series of events. And this connects with what the song is about lyrically. So lyrically, the song is about a friend who passed away about a year ago, a friend of mine. And that, as it always does, of course, it leads to a lot of introspection, a lot of contemplation about, life and how short it can be, and the passing of time, the fact that we're not as present with ourselves or with those who we care about as maybe we should be, because suddenly there is no time anymore to be with that person, for example. So that became the inspiration for the lyrics. And so what happened was, just after that event, I came back to this song and then just finished it in like a day. I completely rewrote the verse, partly switched the language from Swedish to English, and rewrote basically the chord structure of the verse. The basis is still there, but there's that part when I sort of go off into this descending chord structure that was completely new, and then also wrote the lyrics in a day, basically, just in a couple of hours. So finished that song, and then took it to my bandmates Nico and David, and we worked it out in the studio. So from that point, it was a quite quick progress of getting the song finished. And I think it turned out really nicely. In fact, my two recent songs, both this one and the last one, Tasting, are actually inspired by the same event. So they were written... Tasting also has a similar story about being sort of musically written before, but then sort of being finished and written lyrically in the same period. So they're both based on the same event, but they take different approaches to it. So Tasting was my sort of maybe intellectual reflection on what happened. So I take it to a more philosophical kind of intellectualized perspective, whereas this song is more the personal side of it. So if Tasting was me responding to this passing of my friend philosophically, this is just that more the heart side of it, right? It's just sort of expressing that pain and that grief in a more direct way. So they're kind of companion songs in a way, even though they're very, very different from each other, musically, obviously. And musically, it's quite simple, really. It's still based to some degree around that original sort of guitar that I wrote it on, but I've also brought up the piano as a more prominent instrument. The percussion is this enormous egg. Maybe I have it here. So this just really big egg shaker is what I used. I bought it specifically for this song. When I was working on it back in the day, I was inspired at that point by a song by Sheryl Crow called I Still Believe, I think is the song, which I was really into at that time for some reason, and that sort of plucking guitar is kind of stolen from that song, honestly, almost. But I wanted this sort of really heavy percussion that felt big, but was also kind of heavy in the sense of like chugging along like a huge train, and any kind of tambourine or little egg or shaker didn't really do it. And so I went looking for something in the local music store, and I found this egg that just had this huge kind of sound, almost like it's impossible to stay on time. You're just kind of lagging behind, but that's exactly what the song needed. So I think it really adds to the song. It gives it this kind of heavy feeling that I really wanted for it. And then there's a beautiful Jupiter 8 synth that's sort of also playing the theme sometimes and coming in there for the instrumental section and adding some coloring here and there, and some classic just ambient guitar stuff. So that was what the song was. And I didn't originally wanted to have any kind of band playing any kind of drums or bass, but then when I brought it to the guys and we were in the studio, they suggested we try it, and I was skeptical, but we tried having them, so the drums and the bass, come in toward the end of the song for that instrumental section. And so we recorded it live in the studio, and once we did that and added that, it kind of like just elevated that section of the song completely. And it does give it a kind of triumphant send-off in a way, even though the song is quite dark, and it's a song about grief, essentially. But I feel like that part, when the drums and the bass come in and you have that sort of instrumental section and the last chorus, that really sort of gave it a feeling of that there is hope and there is light even within the darkness of that grief, which I felt was really appropriate for the song as well. Anyway, I'm happy with how the song turned out. I hope you guys like it as well. It will be available by now. By the time you're seeing this, it's available on all streaming platforms. There should be a video version on YouTube, on my channel, Filip Holm, which is maybe where you're seeing this too, I don't know. So go check it out. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment, share it, tag me. Tag me in a video when you talk about it or listen to it, whatever you want to do. I really appreciate your thoughts. And I'll see you for the next song, I guess, for another video like this. See you soon.